those of you who have not already heard, it is time for me to announce round 4 of the catch-up book club, which is going to be the Faithfull along, otherwise known as a read-along of the Banished Lands world by Gwynne. So I hope that you all are excited because we are going to be delving into 2 series in this one set on the same continent. This is a series that I have been very excited to get into for quite some time, but I've been saving it for catch-up book club, and I actually do not know too much about the plot of these books. So I will tell you everything that I know in this video, but otherwise we are going to be exploring Gwynne's books together. So if y'all are unfamiliar with catch-up book club, it is my epic fantasy book club where we tend to read epic fantasy. We started way back in 2018 with Game of Thrones, and then since then we only do series that have like more than one iteration, like normally set in the same universe. So we've done Robin Hobb's Realm of the Earthlings, we've just finished Joe Abercrombie's First Law, and now we are going into Gwynne's Banished Lands. The book club is bi-monthly because the books that we read tend to be quite thick, and this is definitely no exception, so prepare yourselves. Every couple of months we get together in a live show that rotates through all of the host channels, and we talk about what we have just read. Let me introduce you guys to the book. So if you guys did not know, Gwynne has 2 series that are set in the same world. The world is called the Banished Lands. Now I only have one of the series, which is the Faithfull and the Fallen, and then the other series is called Of Blood and Bone. So the first one, Faithfull and the Fallen, is 4 books, Of Blood and Bone is 3, and we are going to be reading all of them for this read along. Gwynne also has another series, which I think the first book is called The Shadow of the Gods. Stunning covers, and I do want to read them eventually, but I believe that they are set in a different world to this one, so we will not be tackling them for this read along. As usual with the catch-up book club series, I don't know very much about these books. I only know the bare basics. When it comes to epic fantasy, I really struggle to comprehend the synopses without any kind of context. So everything that I know about the Banished Lands is that it is set in a world where there was a war between humans and giants, and as we are getting into the first book, Malice, the giants seem to be stirring again, which will possibly reignite this war. I know that there are tons of characters in this series and they have a lot of perspectives. I believe that it is quite confusing starting off because you don't know like whose perspectives are going to be prominent or how each perspective is relevant, but as the books like go on, or as the book goes on, then everything starts to become a little bit clearer. I know one of our main characters who is on the synopsis of this one, who is Corbin, has been compared to Fitz from the Realm of the Earthlings, which I'm always here for. I love my sweet boy Fitz. I know that the stakes are really high, so we're going to get a lot of deaths in this series. I believe that Gwynne writes really hard-hitting, like emotionally impactful books. I think that he is really good with found family. There are tons of animal companions. He writes a lot about friendship. So all of that sounds amazing to me, if I'm being honest, and I hope it sounds good to you as well. I love a fantasy series where the stakes are really high and I can get emotionally invested. So I'm hoping that this becomes a new fave for me and also all of you guys as well. In terms of the Of Blood and Bone trilogy, I don't know anything about the plot of that one. I believe because it is set in the same world as the Faithfull and the Fallen, that the major plot events of the Faithfull and the Fallen are spoiled in Of Blood and Bone. So if you intend to read both of them, you should read them in order, but I think you can also read Of Blood and Bone as a trilogy in itself. But I do also think that all of the world building in the Faithfull and the Fallen is not repeated in Of Blood and Bone, so that one can be a little bit harder to get into. The only thing I know about it and how it's related to the Faithfull and the Fallen is that I think it's set 100 years-ish after the events of the Faithfull and the Fallen, and that is all I can tell you about that one. In the past, we have done Twitter and Discord for this book club, and at this point, I don't really use Twitter. I've recently decided that I will not be using Twitter going forward for my readathon, and I've also decided that we're not going to be using Twitter going forward for the book club. We do have a Discord where there are spaces for you guys to discuss the books as we're reading them, both in non-spoiler and spoiler channels, and I do also post the announcements and the links for the live shows into Discord as well, so you can get that information there. Now I am going to be sharing a schedule with you for this series of when we are aiming to have each book read by, and that is around the time that the live show will be. That is subject to change because life happens, people make plans, but but we are pretty good at sticking to schedule, at least when it comes to the months that each live show should be. I have also recently realized that I am underutilizing the community page on my YouTube channel. So going forward, I am going to try and remember to give you guys a heads up of when the live shows for the book club are through there as well. I do also tend to post things in my Instagram stories for all of the live shows to Catch Up Book Club, and I do normally mention in like my TBRs when the live show is going to be if we have decided a date at that time. So your best bet is to join the Discord. You can be as active or as inactive in there as you would like. That is mainly a space that is provided for you, and there isn't like a whole ton of host participation in there. But if you're looking to have discussion with other people participating in the book club, then Discord is the place to be. Now, in terms of our hosts, the live shows for each of the books will cycle through the host channel. So because we have 7 books in this world as a whole, it is going to start and end on my channel, and every other host will host one live show for one book. So all of these hosts are people that you have seen in Catch Up Book Club before, including some that have stayed on from First Law and some that are coming back from like Game of Thrones and the Realm of the Eldlings, which is exciting. So our first host is of course myself. Our second one is our final original Catch Up Book Club host, which is Zafina from the Psycho Nyx. Our next host is Aaron from Booked and Busy, who joined us for the first Readalong. We then have Gavin from Gavin Reads It All, who was a Catch Up Book Club host way back for when we read Game of Thrones in like 2018 and 2019. And then we have Sandra from Got a Thing for Things, and also Deb from DG Reads, who both hosted the end of the first Readalong. So in terms of the schedule, this read-along is going to start in November, but the first live show is going to be in January. So for every book, you are going to have 2 entire months to read the book, and then the live show is going to be, usually we aim for the second Sunday of the month following. So to give an example and get into the schedule, I guess, your first book will be Malice. The read-in months for this are November and December, with the live show target date being the 12th of January on my channel. Like I said, those dates are subject to change, but unless there is a reason why we can't, we tend to always do the second Sunday of the month that follows the reading month for each book. The second book in the Faithfull and the Fallen series is Valor, and this one is going to be the January and February book. The live show target date is the 9th of March, and the live show for this one will be on Zafina's channel. Book 3 is Ruin. This is the book for March and April. The target live show date is the 11th of May, and this one will be on Aaron's channel. And then the final book in the Faithfull and the Fallen is Wrath. This is the book for May and June. The target live show date is either going to be the 6th or the 20th of July, because we know for that month we can't do the second Sunday, and this one is going to be on Gavin's channel. Then getting into the Of Blood and Bone trilogy, the first book in that is A Time of Dread, which is going to be the book for July and August. The target live show date is the 14th of September, and that one will be on Sandra's channel. The second book in Of Blood and Bone is A Time of Blood. This will cover September and October, with the live show target date being the 9th of November on Deb's channel. And then finally, we will be wrapping this up in January 2026 with A Time of Courage for November and December, with the target date for the live show being the 11th of January on my channel. The reason that Catch Up Book Club is a bi-monthly book club is because of the length of the books. The general rule is that if the book is over 500 pages, then the reading time will be 2 months as opposed to 1. I have gone off the UK page counts for all of the books in this series, and by my calculation there is one under 500 pages, but it is literally, according to the UK Amazon, it is A Time of Blood, which is the second Of Blood and Bone book. It is 496 pages, so we're just going to count it as 500 anyway because it's so damn close. And then the longest one, I'm pretty sure, is Ruin, which is 750 pages. So most of the books are around 600 pages, but they do range range from like 500 to 750. Whenever you decide to read them during the reading time is up to you. You will find that the hosts tend to read them at the beginning of the month that the live show's in, so that we're super fresh. But if you are a slower reader, we give you 2 months so that you have ample time if you need to break the book down into smaller chunks to be able to get through it before the deadline. Now, the whole point of this read along, the whole point of this book club is so that we can all be held accountable and keep up with such long series and actually manage to get through these really long, really intricate, really complex fantasy series without kind of forgetting the minor details, because we are constantly looking at the next book in the series instead of like letting months or potentially years go by between books, and then they're so intimidating that like if you leave a long time between book 3 and 4, then you have to reread everything and you just never end up actually finishing the series. However you want to read, however is best for you as a reader to keep up, you do you. It's absolutely fine. But I think that that is all of the information that you need for this round of Catch Up Book Club. Down in my comments, let me know whether you're going to participate. I hope that y'all are excited about our new series, because I've had a bunch of questions as always asking what it's going to be, and I do hope that you do choose to participate. Please do be sure to check out all of the hosts, which will of course be linked in the description box. If you guys don't want to participate on any social media, then please do go ahead and subscribe to the host channel so that you will be notified at the very minimum when they schedule the live show, so that you don't miss our discussions. But I'm pretty sure that's all I've got, so please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. Down in my description box you will find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and my Patreon if you'd like to join me on any of those. But that is it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.